Hi there, welcome to the next video of our CEO Money Management Challenge. In this video, we're going to be addressing the CEO percentage method. And the goal for this video is to actually help you uncover and stop wondering, where did my business money go? All right? So, I have a question for you. Have you ever had like an awesome sales week? You have clients paid you, you got money hit your bank account, you are all excited. But a few weeks later, just for you to be asking yourself, but where did this money go? If that is you, then today's lesson is for you. Because one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is by treating every money that comes into the business as spending money. And that is why many entrepreneurs feel really stressed even though they have sales coming into the business. Today, I'm going to teach you a simple CEO system that helps you assign every dollar before it even leaves the account. The real problem is not that money is not coming into your business. The real problem is you don't have an actual system for that money when it comes. So, an example will be you have $10,000 coming to the business, and that money goes into just one business account. What's going to happen now? You're going to find yourself spending, out of the account, right? You're going to be taking care of personal bills. You're going to be taking care of some business bills. You're going to be buying inventory. You're going to be renewing subscriptions, off the bat. Like everything is coming at you, you're throwing money at it. That is initial panic. That is initial route you're going. That is why you are feeling stressed, okay? That is why you're like, but where is this money going? I'm still buying things for the business. I just bought this, I just buy that. Because there's not an actual assignment. Yes, you might think by spending on inventory, you're doing the business good. Stuff finished, you're replacing stuff. But at what rate? At what percentage? At what cost? That is why. All right? So what we want to do instead is this. We want to have not just one bank account. We want to have several bank accounts. And what would that look like? We want to have owner's pay, okay? So when that money comes in, take out your owner's pay. But we're going to allocate percentage to it. We're getting there. But we just want to understand what those accounts are. The next thing we want to do now, have a tax account. All right? We want to pay Uncle Sam. And then we want to have another account. And this account is going to be called our savings and investment account. Our saving and investment account. The next account you want to have is your operations and expenses account. As a matter of fact, this operation and expense account can be this me account that the money initially came into. So not necessarily opening 5 plus 1, 6 account, no. You're opening these accounts based on what your business size is, So some large businesses going to have all these accounts. Very smaller businesses, you can choose what accounts are needed. But my advice is no having one account. That is a no. All right? Then the next account we want to look at is our growth account. All right, growth account. So we have pay, owner's pay, tax account, saving investment account, operations and expenses. Then we have growth account. And we're going to assign these accounts, we're going to have percentage allocated towards them. Has there ever been an instance where, let's say $10,000 came to your account, and after you spend it all, then you feel really broke? This is why. The problem isn't that money is not coming in. The problem is the money is not told where to go. So here's the CEO mindset shift that I want you to have. And I need you to write this down. Every dollar needs an assignment. Because real successful business owners don't just spend first before they become organized. What they do is they organize first before they can spend. And that is the difference. Now, let's look at the next thing. One of the biggest lessons I've learned working with business owners is that revenue is not profit and profit is not cash flow. So this is not this. And profit is not cash flow. Let's break this down. Revenue is money coming into the business. So money coming into the business, okay? That's revenue. We just got in the money. Profit, on the other hand, is what's left after we spend this money. Bills, subscriptions, inventories, spending money, workshop, trips. After we spend, what's left is what's profit. Okay? So overhead costs. We have overhead, we have direct costs, some variable costs, coming out, right? What's left is considered your profit. Cash flow here is what actually keeps the business alive. I've seen business owners celebrate a $20,000 a month and still feeling stressed. Why? Because the money already has somewhere to go. Revenue looked great, but cash flow wasn't. The revenue came in at $20,000. Revenue came in at $20,000. Then expenses to do, let's say you spend $18K, right? So expenses went up. That's revenue minus expenses. What's left here is your profit. So profit now will be what? 2018, you'll be left with a 2,000. That's your profit. So this is where most entrepreneurs get it confusing, because revenue looks promising. It looks amazing, Revenue looks amazing. Profit looks decent. But at the end of the day, cash flow is struggling, because if you are getting in revenue this much and you're spending almost everything towards expenses and getting this pitty bit left for profit, then cash flow is struggling, okay? And as a matter of fact, in some instances, some businesses, there's no profit at all. Like they have this $20,000 go right back into expenses. If right now every money that comes into your business is equal to expenses, we want to change that. So right now you have money. Let's say you have 20,000 comes into the business, and then expenses just out right away. This is not good. All right. This is what we want to get rid of. I'm reiterating because I want you to understand how awful this is. That is why you are stressed. That is why you are overwhelmed. That is why nothing is making sense to you. You are seeing the money. Clients are coming in, but you're like, why? Because you keep getting in the money and not telling the money where to go. So this is what we want to do instead. Remember the diagram we drew earlier? We have $20,000 coming. So that's the money, the income, the business income. What we want to do is, if it goes to the business bank account, we want to send it to the bank account plus S. That is multiples, okay? S. So we want to send it to that owner's pay account, right? But our owner pay account, we want to allocate it. So we want to send it and put a percentage behind it. All right? So for owner's pay, what we will say is a percentage that's going to go to it. And here's the thing, there's no like a set percentage to say, oh, for owner's pay, I must have 35%, I must have 20%. When I'm evaluating a business based on that business income, the business operation, what that business is about, that determines what the percentage is going to look like for a business. So what I'm going to do there, I'm just going to give you a balance out what this should look like, okay? But if we do one-on-one assess your business, there might be a percentage a little slight difference in the percentage rate. And like I said, it varies based on the business. So a product-based business percentage might be different from a service-based business percentage, and even the types of accounts. A bigger business versus a smaller business, I need you to understand these things. But no matter what your business is, you want to tell your business money where to go. You don't want it to stay here and you just start to riff off of it. That is not the goal, all right? So let's say owners pay, let's say 25%. Okay, want to give owners pay 25%. Tax, let's say want to give tax account between 20 to 30. Let's give tax account 30%, because based on the average, okay? This might vary again based on your business type. Like majority of the time, or consultation business might not pay heavy taxes versus or product-based business, So, but we'll just say 30% to be safe. Owners pay 25% because we're looking at 100%, right? And we're splitting that. So right now we minus 25% and we minus another 30%. How much are we left with? This is 55 right there. So 55. We're left with a 45. Operations and growth, those are the two left. So after we say 10%, here we're left with 35%. So the 35%, if we send operations and growth, we want to give another 10% towards growth. Then we'll be left with 25% right here. And then operations. Operation expenses, okay? So this might be true for this based on your business type, and this might not be true. So it depends on what your overhead cost looks like, right? If you have a heavy overhead cost, probably operations might be like 35%. And then everything else you can even out, make it make sense, all right? But you want to tell the money where to go. And as I mentioned earlier, what we want to do here is we want, as soon as the money comes into the bank account, so the expenses account, technically, let's assume that this expense is going to stay within that initial account. And then everything else, owners pay, you're going to send out a check to yourself or zero payment to yourself or whatever, you see? So technically now, we have one account, so we have then the tax account is going to be a business account because this is going to be sent to your personal. If you have partners, you're going to split the 25% or 20%, however percentage going to go towards partnership pay. That's going to go out of the account, but we want the paper trail so you can send a check to yourself, a transfer, all that stuff. It's going to go out. So we have this one account left. Then we have a tax account. This should stay within a business account. That business account can be with the same bank or with different bank, but as long as you're able to keep things organized, fine. This savings account should also stay within the business account, business savings account, business tax account, business growth account. So looking at this right here, we're having one, this is the account the money came into in the first place, so operations money are left there. This is what you spend out of as well. So as soon as that money lands here, what you do is you send it out. So you're sending this percentage here, you are sending this percentage here, you're sending this percentage here, you're sending this percentage, and this one here. So technically we have 1, 2, 3, 4 accounts because this is going out. And if for smaller businesses, as I mentioned earlier, might have maybe an owner's pay account, a tax account, a savings and investment account, and an expenses account. A smaller business might not have like growth account for now, you see? So it depends on what your business is, but you want to have this kind of flow going on. Now you told your money where to go. So if you are left with 30% in this account, or if you are left with 25% now because you already allocated everything to go to where they need to go, then whatever is left here, you are going to operate within that. So you're going to start noticing that your expenses have several things, right? For expenses, we could have variable cost or fixed cost. That is where you start to pay more attention to what you are spending. So some payments or some expenses within the account are on a monthly basis. Those are fixed cost, right? And some are on, let's say, quarterly They comes once in a while. Some are on annually. Some payments are made annually, you know, like some subscriptions sometimes. Like for example, I'm a part of a groups like clubs, you know, membership. So majority of the time, those are annual payment I make once a year. So, but some payments are monthly or quarterly. Then you can evaluate and say, okay, want to create a budget for your business, because based on if it's 35% that's left in the expenses account, you want to create a budget for your business around this 35%. So you're telling that budget, okay, what are all the things that I need to do for the month, both variable and fixed cost, looking at direct and indirect cost. What are those things? Space rental, if it's storage, if you have car payment, you know, all the things, you want to budget for them. In that way, you know, okay, I'm at 35% cap. Probably this 35% might be 10,000, 12,000, it might be 14,000, it might be 5,000, whatever it is, you know that is what you have and that is what you are spending within. But the moment you have 20,000 in the account, you don't have what this 20,000 should do. You're going to see yourself just overthinking everything, trying to spend way over budget for marketing. What's in here for marketing is going to get budgeted. So you want to have a budget, How much are you going to spend on marketing per month for that year? Okay? How much are you going to spend on, are you willing to spend on storage? So it's not because someone else rented a glass see-through wall for their office space. So now you want to measure and you're not there yet. That's how come you start to spend here. You start to feel exhausted and anxious because you are conspicuously consuming. Let's be frank. All right, moving. So before we told the money where to go, there was what? Money in, money out, chaos. There was what? Taxes. There was what? Stress. When you're not telling your money where to go. No direction. No direction. This is what? Money in, money out, chaos, taxes, stress. But after you've told that money where to go, what happens is money in, system, profit, plan, and peace of mind. You see? Money in, system, profit, a plan, and a peace of mind. That is why you have, if you give your money, you give a direction to your money. That's what happens. And the goal here is not perfection. The goal here is to be intentional. Intentional. Because when you are clear, like the clear next step, everything starts with clarity. And that is why I broke down the accounts, the percentage, and those percentage gets sent out before the expenses starts. So you're creating your budget around your expenses. That is what's left in that account. That's what you are spending out of, okay? Now, every dollar has a purpose. Then when tax season comes, when you're ready to invest in something new, you have the cushion. Even you as a business owner, you are not necessarily burned out, because guess what? You are getting paid. That is why you started this business in the first place, to get paid. You are prepared when it's time to pay yourself or your partners. And if you're a big business and you have payroll, you are prepared for payroll. When investments come your way, you are prepared to step into that phase of it. And sometimes investment will look like this. Like you are even at a place you're like, yeah, I'm able to take this XYZ amount of loan because you know you have the savings that even if business is not going for the first 1 or 2 months and you have somewhere to turn to kind of like make payments towards that loan until you can balance out, you have an emergency fund. That is the goal. You are planning, and planning creates peace. So now I need you to write this down because this is your very first lesson in becoming intentional. If you remember nothing today, I want you to remember this. Future money won't pay today's bill. So future money won't pay today's bill. What does that mean? We're not just impulsively using money, because we have to remember now, this money that just came in, there's an allocated amount that's for the future that's not meant to be spent today. So we're not going off of impulse, okay? 2, cash flow matters. And cash flow is not revenue. Cash flow is not profit. Cash flow is the entire thing, like how the money comes in, how it's spent. And if it's coming in and it's coming in and it's getting clock here and clock here, then that's not good. Money should come in, because while you're just spending everything, so everything else like that needs to get taken care of, there's no way to wait. But it should be able to flow. Cash flow should be able to flow to improve this business and make things bigger and make things better Okay? I'm an artist. I'm so proud of myself. Next thing I want you to understand is financial clarity matters. I'm going to add that there. And this clarity, I'm going to cover it in a whole different course, okay, on clarity. We're going to get clarity, because most times people think like, I'm consistent. I'm doing this thing. What are you consistent about? Because if you're consistent about nonsense, you're going to repeat nonsense. If you're consistently spending money anyhow, you're going to still be stuck, But if you have clarity and then you are consistent, then you're going a good direction. Because guess what? You're going to get good results. But if you are consistently consistent without clarity, you are still going to have a result. And that result is going to be what? Stress. Okay? The next thing I want you to think about is this. Every dollar should have a purpose before it is spent. Everything here is related. Got it? Financial clarity matters. Cash flow matters. Future money won't pay today's bill. So we're going to have some homework. Homework number 1, review last month's revenue. If you have the time, because some businesses, the expenses is just way too much, starting from wherever it is starting from, it's just going to be too much. If you're able to do that, beautiful. If you're able to hire help, get that done. If you're able to review up to 3 months, backtrack 3 months revenue, because it's going to give you an insight of what's happening. If not, your assignment is to review at least 1 month revenue. Okay? Number 2, create your own percentage allocation. What does that mean? Remember how we talked about the 100%. So if money comes into the business, 20K came in, that's 100%, right? You want to divide this per percentage towards savings, owner's pay, taxes, operations and expense, investment and savings. Where is it? Savings and investment, growth, So you want to 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to split the percentage between them. So, like I mentioned earlier, this 20,000, depending on what kind of business you are, who you are, you can decide to say, okay, I'll pay myself 10%. It depends. I'll pay myself 35%. That's you. Okay, operations is heavy, so probably I'm going to pay operation. Going to lead 30%. That's based on your business type. You're going to allocate what percentage looks like for you. Product-based businesses, taxes might be higher, probably in the 30% range, versus a service-based business that is a consultant, you know. So you want to determine what that allocation is. So create your own percentage allocation. Number 2. Number 3, create a budget. Create a budget, create a budget, create a budget. You know why? Because if you do not create a budget, the whole allocation process wouldn't make sense at all. Because you're going to be like, okay, I don't even know how much I need, or I feel like I need way more money, and I'm just putting money away. So you want to know, what are you spending on a monthly basis? Like, what does that expenses look like that you will be comfortable, you know? If you have to pay the rent for the business, the internet for the business, overhead costs, you have to buy printer and ink, and you have to buy even like all the things you are doing, create a budget. Then it's going to help you understand, okay, $6,000 is an operational cost that we need, you know. Then you're going to know what that percentage looks like when it comes to operations and expenses for the business that you're going to take out of your total. You're going to know, okay, you know what? Then my money goal for this business now is not 10,000 anymore. It's not 20,000 anymore per month. Probably my money goal for this business is 50,000. So what can I do to bring more money into the business? You see, that's where strategic planning comes in. You start to say, oh no, we're operating way below our means, or way higher than our means. How can we strategize to bring in more money? Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to spend more. How much are we spending on marketing right now? Well, probably we're spending just $400 on marketing per month. Can we increase the marketing budget so that we get way more money in that's going to support our expenses and then allow us save more? You want to create a budget. You want to ask yourself, am I spending intentionally, or am I just reacting? So, the next video. In the next video, we're going to be covering one of the most emotional topic in the entrepreneurship journey, and that is how to pay yourself correctly. Because majority of the time, the reason for the stress and all the awful feeling in the first place, overwhelm, is because majority of entrepreneurs, we don't see the need to pay ourselves. We want to shoulder everybody else, everything. Oh, this is my business. This is my thing. I have to shoulder. You have to carry it. And we forget about one of the most important part, how to pay yourself correctly. Because most entrepreneurs are either not even paying themselves, or they're either paying themselves in a way that hurts the business. See that? In the next video, we get to fix that for you.